Welcome to Zion.
We just got off the shuttle bus at the Temple of Senawava, which means
We are doing the Narrows hike today. So we started by going to Zion Outfitters and we rented this super cool gear.
look at this super cool outfit. Got neoprene socks and these fancy water shoes. And I've got a cool stick. So let's get going. We made it to the entrance of the Narrows and it is packed. So we're gonna get in and walk for a bit. Hopefully it clears out and then we'll tell you a little bit more about this hike. First impression, the water's not that cold.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be colder.
So to get to the Narrows, it's about a 1 mile hike on the river walk, which is all concrete, and then just dead stops. And you're there. Crossing's a little deeper.
Yeah.
So overall, walking through the river so far has been not bad. It's honestly pretty compacted down, I would say, for some of the other rivers I've gone through.
It's just a little rockier when you get near the river, like the river banks and the shores. So just be careful because you can't really see the bottom and you might trip. That's why I brought my stick.
Her wizard stick.
I'm Gandalf. This part's a little rockier. Navigating it a lot slower.
All right, it's getting deep. There we go. So now that we're getting deeper, one thing to talk about is the bacteria in the water. There's warnings all over the National Park's website, which essentially says you can't filter it, don't drink it, don't put your head under, don't expose open cuts to it. So we're not going to go swimming today. However, Jess is getting...
It's almost chest high for me. So in this area, it's known for being really deep, and it's actually deeper if you go along the canyon walls versus if you stay in the center. But for me, it still went up pretty high.
Yeah.
So a lot of people ask, I've seen on Reddit, how deep do you think it is? Am I gonna need waders? Is it gonna be chest high? Is it gonna be waist high? The honest answer is you never know because every flash flood changes the makeup of this canyon and this river. So some days it might only go up to mid-thigh. Some days it goes up to your armpits. That's the fun of the hike. You just never know.
It's almost like they created a very, very tiny waterfall that you have to step over. We going down again.
You can feel the current on this crossing. This crossing was a lot rockier and like 3 people tripped and fell. So I made it across in one piece and so did Kevin. All right, we are some ways into the Narrows because my watch indicates that we might be 1 mile in and Kevin's indicates that we would be 2 miles in, so who knows. But this, you look up and the canyon is just so gorgeous, this section. I'm loving it so far. The farther you go in, the less busy it gets. I think you can go about 4 to 5 miles in, so we'll see.
Wow, the map's doing well. It was in my pocket. I forgot about it. I don't think we need that part anyways. Don't worry about that. Okay, we're past the waterfall. Good to go. So the Narrows takes place in what are called slot canyons. This creates a little more planning than an actual hike. There is no permit for this one. However, you really have to watch the weather. And I'm not talking about just in the Zion area, up north also, because this area is prone to flash flooding. And as you can see behind me, there is no easy way out if this thing flash floods. So they actually put a sign at the beginning. I believe it's not expected, possible, probable, or like expected. So make sure you plan for it, you look at the weather, and plan accordingly for when you're going to do this hike. This might be the longest section of land we've been on since we've started. Little change up. I can't wait to see what my Garmin watch shows by the end of this because we went like 2 miles an outlaw. 10, 15 minutes or something ridiculous.
I think for once your watch is wrong.
Yeah, I'm going to say my watch is off this time.
I started my watch where the bus dropped us off, and we've been going for about an hour and a half.
You're saying we didn't do 4.8 miles in an hour and a half through a river?
No, we didn't. My watch says 3, which is more realistic.
Another crossing done.
The current is like deceptively strong. It doesn't look like the water's moving that fast, but when you're in there, you can just feel it pulling at your legs and your stick as you're trying to stabilize. So it's deceptive. And when it's rocky, it's hard not to fall.
So we've already actually seen a couple people go down. So make sure you wear something you're prepared to get wet in.
No, I would recommend shoes that aren't going to slip on the rocks, and a lot of hiking poles and sticks. I don't know how Kevin's doing it without a stick.
It's not bad. All right, we're about 2.5 miles in, and the crowd has severely thinned out.
Yes.
There's no one right now. Is that bad? I don't know. The people are gone. So we're gonna hike up a little more.
My foot just got stuck. That was kind of scary.
Honestly, if you just do a little bit of this hike and just people watch, it's comical. I mean, we're all in the same boat, slipping and tripping and falling all over the place. It is definitely fun to watch. It's so crazy. So we were just giving some advice. As you come up here, apparently it divides. Stay to the right if you started at the bottom by the temple. Otherwise, if you go left, you're going to end up on the 16-mile trail. Here is the divide, I believe. We're going to go to the right.
All right, we've reached the end of the Narrows hike. We're in a smaller slot canyon, and it's cloudy, and we're starting to get nervous. So we are going to turn around and head back. We'll see you guys back at the trailhead. I know we said we'd see you at the trailhead. We're back in the van instead. The bus was there right when we got to the trailhead, so we hopped on, got super cold on the 45-minute bus ride. We were wet, and it was like blasting AC. So we got back to the visitor center. We ran back to the car and changed, so we're in some nice warm clothes. And
dry.
Yes, warm and dry. And now we're going to drop our shoes and stuff back off and then find some food.
Yeah.
So we didn't like the looks of the restaurant by the park, so we took the Springdale bus up the road, and we're going to try a place called Oscar's.
We're also looking for something specific for dinner.
Yeah. That's insane.
It was good though.
That dinner was delicious.
I'm stuffed.
We're stuffed, so we decided to walk back to the van instead of taking the bus.
The nachos was the biggest nachos I've ever had.
I know.
That was wild.
We were going to get 2 entrees, but the nachos ended up being 1 entree.
So big. So good though.
But it is so beautiful just walking down. This is just like the main strip outside of Zion.
If you can't tell by my focus.
Just the mountains everywhere. It's beautiful. We made it back to the van, and now we are headed to our campsite for the night. We got ourselves a spot in Watchman Campground, which was super hard. We basically had to check basically every day to see if spots opened up, but we were able to get a spot in Watchman within Zion. So, yay!
We filled this baby. We just finished showering, and this is our guy from the outside. Apparently, Jess washing her hair and everyone trying to get the river bacteria off uses a lot of water. But I think we might be around 6 gallons, 5-6 gallons for a shower. That's a little high for us.
Since we are staying at a campground tonight that does not have showers, and I knew we were going to dump and fill in the morning, I actually washed my hair in the van. So yes, we used a lot more water than normal, but we know we're dumping and filling tomorrow, so.
Right. And let's be real, if there's bacteria all throughout the water, it's probably dirty.
Yeah.
So excited about this for tomorrow. We have the permit to do the Angel's Landing hike. Super excited about it. So our time is before 9 a.m., which means we have to be at the grotto before 9 a.m. And I think the buses start running at 7. We're going to try and catch one pretty close to the beginning to get up there.
Yeah. And luckily, our campground is literally right behind the visitor center.
Right.
Which is where the shuttles start at 7 a.m.
So with that, since we're going to get up early, we're going to finish getting ready for bed, get to bed early, get some sleep, and get ready for this awesome hike.
Yeah. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Angel's Landing Day. Let's go.
So the Angel's Landing hike starts on the West Rim Trail. And you can actually do this trail without a permit. You can do the West Rim Trail to Scouts Lookout. There's a turn to Angel's Landing, and at that point, that is where you need the permit.
Angel's Landing is just over 4 miles out and back, and I believe it's about 1,800 feet of elevation gain for it.
Yep.
So not the steepest thing we've ever done, but it's definitely uphill.
Yeah.
So the first part's pretty flat, and then you end up on a switchback on concrete. So that's nice. All right, I see people up there already. So we got a ways to go.
If you look up there, you can see where we're headed. Hopefully there's a lot of switchbacks.
I think the biggest surprise for me is that it's paved this high up so far. The fact that it's still paved all the way up here is crazy. I had to take forever to do. We're about 30 minutes in and we've come a far way. Just a mile and a quarter. Slide to the right. Slide to the left. How you doing?
It's like a billion switchbacks.
It's never ending switchbacks.
This trail does take you to Scouts Lookout. You would imagine that would be pretty high up.
Especially if you're scouting. Makes sense. I love the cuts through the rocks and stuff. It looks fake, like someone did it. It's so natural. So they do check your permits up here, so make sure you have those before you start. This is gonna be a long climb.
First part, you're just going up some sandstone on some chains. So far, not too bad. It was a little slippy. Probably should have gotten new shoes for this.
I think the hardest part was getting to the chain at the beginning. It was really slick with the sand on the stone. Don't do this if you're scared of heights, to say the least. Find the path up. So the chain ends for a little bit, not just a little scramble. Yeah, this hike has been on my bucket list for a long time, so I'm really excited to be here. The views have been awesome so far. We have another little outlook. Oh, wow. That is where we're going. Oh my God, look at that.
Oh, wow.
Next part of the hike, you go straight up that.
We need our view for red gloves. Get a little scared on the exposed parts where there's no railing. Gotta trust your feet.
I love this hike. This is so fun. I'm having a blast.
Not little like friendly.
Definitely getting past people is probably the most challenging part in some of these turns and tight areas on this hike. It really is kind of like a Via Ferrata without the safety equipment. There are definitely some flat spots where you can rest, which is nice too. And the views continue to be awesome.
We made it to the top! Yeah! We're gonna hang out here and enjoy the views for a bit and then
Have some snacks
and make our way back down.
We're back down here at Scouts Lookout, and we had some sandwiches and some hydration, and there's toilets by here.
Yes, so there are toilets right before you start Angel's Landing, which is super nice.
I cannot imagine that hike without permits, though.
Yeah, like it was just fighting people going towards the end of Angel's Landing on the way back. It was crazy.
Yeah, you had to push your way through at times. We were lined of like 30 people in a row.
Yeah.
We're really glad we did it, but I can't imagine doing it in peak season in the summer.
No.
That was crazy coming back down.
It was crazy. And I will say if you do it, try and do it in the morning, A, because it's less busy, and B, because you're in the shade most of the time.
Yeah, the sun has to come up over the mountains.
Yeah. All right, with that,
we are going to head back to the bus.
we finally made it back to the van, and we are exhausted after those 2 hikes. We ate some food, and now we have to go and pick up our dogs, but we decided to take the scenic drive through Zion to the east entrance, since it technically is closer, and we wanted to see the awesome views. And there's a tunnel, and we just make the height limit for it, so thumbs up for that. There's this really cool arch on this road. It's not fully all the way an arch like you'd see in like Arches National Park, but you can see a portion of just the center has fallen through. So there's just some really cool rock formations and everything on this drive. It's pretty awesome. We're stuck in a little bit of traffic right now. So the tunnel that I talked about earlier, I guess there's like a max height limit. And if you are an oversized vehicle, you have to actually pay a fee to go through the tunnel, because what they have to do is shut down the tunnel coming the other direction to let you go through the exact center of it. Luckily, we're not that big, but we are stuck behind a tour bus, so. There are a bunch of signs saying no stopping in the tunnel, which we thought was a little weird until we realized there's kind of a bunch of breaks in the tunnel where you can see out into the canyon. So that makes sense. Well, I guess the traffic on our side was nothing like the traffic on the other side of the tunnel waiting for us to come through.
Look at this guy. So on this drive, if you can't get Angel's Landing's permit, there's a trail on this drive called Canyon Overlook, and it is supposed to have beautiful sweeping views, and it's only, I think, a mile out back total. So it's a great one if you can't do the hike or you can't get your permit to really get the sweeping views, kind of like you get Angel's Landing.
The rock formations on this side of the tunnel seem different than the ones on the other side. It's almost like they have these like wave-like patterns that are vertical. It's really cool.
I don't know if it's because we're higher too, but you get more of the whites too.
Yeah.
I think we are higher actually. This road went up. But yeah, you're more, it's so interesting just looking at it.
Yeah. I decided to Google it, and the sandstone in this park is called Navajo sandstone, and the different colors in it indicate different levels of iron oxide in the sandstone. So the white portion has no iron oxide, and then the deep red portion has a ton of iron oxide. And that's what creates the beautiful colors here in Zion. We are officially out of the park, and now we are on our way to pick up our dogs. So with that, we'll see you guys on the next one.